Giovanni, is that one of the most frustrating games you've ever been involved in?
Well, I don't know the most, but it's a very frustrating to to play at home and to draw points against Livingston, and that's frustrating. Yeah.
Gio, you said that yourself that performances haven't been where you would like them to be in the last couple of weeks, and I guess if performances are poor, then results like today can possibly happen. How much, from your point of view, there's been some criticism of your tactical style, but for you, how much responsibility do the players need to take? Watching that today, there was a number of technical errors, unforced fouls, etc. For you, is there a collective there that everyone needs to take a bit more responsibility on the pitch?
Well, I think of course you always, as a player, you need to take responsibility on your action on the pitch. I mean I think that's obviously that for every player the same. If you make mistakes, you make mistakes, but the overall responsibility of the team is for me, and so in that case, when you don't win at home against Livingston, then people will talk about the tactics, the subs. It's the normal way of going. I'm not happy with our performance. I'm not really happy with the way we started. Normally we start on the front foot in home games, and today was the opposite. I think how we conceded a goal is, in my opinion, impossible. But it happens, and then you see like the opponent getting stronger because they're 1-0 up. They can defend. They can wait for transition moments. Of course, with a really physical striker up front, it was hard for us to take those transition moments away. But overall, I think we created not many chances, and that's frustrating.
Gio, 24 shots from Rangers today, only 3 on target, as you've alluded to. They're not creating many chances. That intensity that got Rangers to the Europa League final last year, that positivity, seems to be absent from the players just now. What do you think the reason is for that?
Well, it's I don't know the reasons. I mean, it's difficult to, because as a manager, as if we know all the answers, we would play every game like fantastic. But that's not the case, because you have you have to take into account the form of players, and as you said, we have so many shots on goal, but only 3 on goal, and it's that's, of course, we have to be sharper in those moments, and and the aggressiveness to connect to crosses or chances we had. I only saw that when we scored the 1-1. After that, I saw the aggressiveness and the speed of play and the fight, but you need to have that in 90 minutes, and that's my responsibility. And today that didn't went as has to be needed for a home game against Livingston.
Giovanni, does that make you concerned, because the team were booed off on Wednesday night, booed off half-time and full-time today, that the players aren't reacting, they aren't given that level of fight, they don't seem to be reacting to either the crowd's demands or yourself?
Well, it's a difficult moment for us, of course. The margin we had on Wednesday against Dundee was only 1 goal difference, so we needed a good win today with 3 points, but we haven't had that, and that's hard to take, but yeah, we need to keep working hard, because it's obviously we're not playing the way we can. I think we can as a team. We're not performing the players as they can, and if you combine that and lose a goal really early, then it's the confidence goes really low, and that's I think that affected it throughout the whole game.
Gio, is it worrying, that display today, particularly after the second half performance against Dundee in midweek?
Yeah, well, I think today is a game where we I think the whole game we weren't in the game, and that's frustrating. We need to be playing at home and creating chances, giving no chances away, and win second balls. And today, I don't know the stats, but it looked like we lost every second ball and we didn't win our duels. And that's, it starts with that. I mean, if we match that against the opponent, eventually, we will be the winners. But that didn't happen in the first minutes of the game. As I said, concede a goal like that is impossible when you play for Rangers, and we conceded that, so that's something, that has to be changed.
Do you think it's a mentality thing or a physical thing due to the number of games you've played this season?
How many games we played last year? There's no excuse if you play 3 times a week. Every player in my team can play 3 days a week, and with the same intensity and the same character. There's no excuse for me.
Gio, do you have a message for the fans that are frustrated at the moment with the level of performance?
Well, I mean, I said it many times. I understand them, and we will work hard to overturn it. And it's understandable. They show their frustration. I mean, that's they want their team to be successful, to be playing well, to get points, and to win in Europe. It's it's what expected when you are a Rangers manager or player, and then when that's not happening, you will get criticized, and that's a thing we need to take, because it's their voice, and the fans are so important for every club, and also for us. So we need to make sure we give them the moments to be positive, and the last couple of games we didn't.
Giovanni, you've got an incredibly difficult game against Napoli in Italy Wednesday now. How do you pick your team up and get them to produce the kind of performances that the supporters expect in that match?
Well, it's a big game against a really good opponent. I think at the moment maybe one of the best teams in Europe. They are leaders in Serie A. They are strong, but it's also a big opportunity for us to overturn that in that game on Wednesday, because we need to get something out of the game to have a slight chance to go further in Europe. So but it's going to be difficult. But first of all, my focus is to pick the right team and start in the right manner, and make sure we are doing everything we can to get a good result.
Is Leon King okay, Gio? He had to come off.
Yeah, he had to come off. He was feeling a little bit sick and nauseous, so we had to change him. So that's why we brought James in.
How was Robbie, Gio?
Well, Robbie, he fell on his back, so he couldn't move anymore, and that's why we took him off as well.
Gio, are you concerned that the mood that the fans are displaying at the matches just now, does that make you concerned if they're still buying into what you're trying to do here?
Well, what can I say? I mean, I'm trying my best. Of course, as a manager, you have to stick with your beliefs in the way of playing. And sometimes, it's not going the right way. I also understand that, but I think it's one thing for sure when you're not performing as a coach or as a team, and you're not getting the results. Of course, people will not buy into it. It's not for me; it's for every coach. In this profession, you see, if you're not going well, then eventually, it's end of story. I mean, it's for everyone, but I think we can still turn it around. I have to believe, we can still play the way we can play, but we have to put energy in it. And for me, all the energy goes into my team, into making sure they're ready for the next opponent.
Do you believe that the team believe that, and you still have the support of the players
Well,
going
ask
forward? Because
Ask them. You talk with players as well. I have to believe they believe me.
the problem is when you go from such a poor performance and you ask for a response from Wednesday to this today, it asks the question.
Yeah, but if it's that easy, that's very simple. Then everyone would be a coach. Just after a game, guys, we need a response on Saturday, and we win 3-0. It doesn't work like that. There are so many factors influencing, the mind of players, the physically, the circumstances. That's why it's a very demanding job, because we have to not only think about tactics, we have to think about players' mindsets, we have to think about players' physicality, we have to think about the tactics, and also the players' form. I think today we have maybe 3-4 players who are not in their best form, and that's also something you have to take in account. And that's if you put it all together, you will find the lineup, and then again you have to wait if the lineups work. You know, it is the most difficult decision you have to make in a job. But I believe that, you know, my players are still, you know, behind me and working hard to overturn this moment.
Gio, you've been playing two wingers for a couple of games now, but you changed that today and Scott Arfield came in off the right. We've seen a high number of crosses today. I think it was about 75. In the game against St Mirren, there was only around about half of that. With not going with two wingers, what was the thoughts on that first of all? And from your point of view, what did Scott Arfield give you on the right hand side that you were looking for?
Well, I mean, it's, you know, if you see the way we play, you know, and the role of Tef, you know, it's very important. If you see the games we played last year, a lot of league games, but also in Europe, you know, Tef fulfilled that role as a winger, and that is a role he can perform. But today I think it didn't work out because I think his positions were too low, and that's why, you know, we have Arfield going wide. But, you know, I think we played many times before the system, and today that didn't work, so we need to change it to keep the width. But it's also about the performances of players with that role. But, you know, if you see the tactics today, you know, it's a tactic I played so many times last year. So it's nothing new for the players, only the execution today, you know, wasn't as we did many times last year.